What's happening, YouTube? I'm back again with a random video in the middle of the week. Yeah, I know what day it is. It's not my normal upload schedule. I wasn't actually even going to make a video today, but I decided to go ahead and make a video. Thanks in part to my boy Seb Atreyu. He had a video that's out, and I know I was late to that video, but he has a video that was out talking about a frequently asked question that I get so much, both on my Instagram and on my YouTube account, and sometimes in my email. So I figured I would go ahead and address that question today and maybe put some people's mind at ease. Shout out to Seb Atreyu. I'm going to leave a link to the description of either his video or at least his channel in my description for this video. All right, so let's get into it. The question that I get so frequently and that I really don't have a very clear answer that's going to be concise, okay? I do have an answer for you, but it's not concise. It's going to take a minute for me to explain it, is why are my locks not growing? All right, because they are. Okay, so it kind of contradicts itself. If you have hair, it's growing. But I get this question a lot. Why are my locks not growing like this person over here, you know, homeboy down the street, the ex-YouTuber, me in particular, whatever. And there's a lot of answers that kind of tie into each other as to why your locks don't look exactly the same as mine. The beauty of locks is that nobody's locks are ever going to look exactly the same as somebody else's. It's all individual and based off of a bunch of different factors and variables. Okay, so the number one variable though is going to be your hair type. I run into people from time to time that don't understand what I mean by hair type, and I think it should be self-explanatory. Most of us in the lock community know already, but if you're a newbie and you're not really sure, I have a little handy dandy illustration here. Ignore the graph down here. We're going to get to that in a minute. For hair type, all right? Number one hair type, and I don't think this is in order because it's probably mirrored, so I'm sorry guys. But number one is gonna be your, excuse me, is gonna be your African type hairs, all right? This is the most kinky and very spiraled and very close to the scalp type hair, all right? And you're gonna see a lot of people that have this hair type and their locks look a certain way, and you know, so you're gonna be asking questions. And the number two is the hair type that I have, all right? And it's a combination really of both kinky and looser hair types. And so for me, I have all three of these on my head, all right? Number three would be a more wavy, straightish hair type. And there's more hair types beyond this that are straighter and have different, you know, patterns, whatever. I'm not illustrating in this because this is the most frequently, these are the three hair types I see the most. And for those of us that are of mixed race, a lot of times you're gonna have all three on your head, and you might even have more, because I have like just straight up straight hair on my head too. Not much of it, but I do have a few hairs that are just legitimately 100% straight. You know, the majority of my hair sits at number two. There's a fair amount of it sits at number one, and there's a fair amount of it that sits at number three. And so what I mean by this to say is that each hair type is going to look differently as it locks. Okay, so a number two may appear to have more length than a number one. Okay, but really your hair grows all about the same rate. Now, there is things like diet, the amount of water that you drink, that play into how much your hair really grows and how quickly it grows. But ultimately, that's within a tolerance. So and I don't have the number for you guys. I should have looked it up before I started the video, so I'm sorry for that. But there's a tolerance and kind of a range in which hair grows. There's the high side of that and there's a low side of that. If you're growing more hair than that, you most likely have a medical condition that is abnormal and probably not good for you and comes with a bunch of other things. So if your hair is growing like insanely fast, maybe you need to go to the doctor and get checked, because there might be some other underlying issues that need to be addressed before it becomes more serious. And then there are people who naturally from heredity, their hair grows fast or their hair grows really, really slow, okay? And you're still within the tolerance. As long as you don't grow hair at all, then you might have alopecia or other things going on, again, medically, that are preventing you from being able to grow hair. Go to a doctor if you haven't already. So what I can say is that there's this range that your hair is gonna grow in. Okay, so yeah, my hair might grow just a little bit quicker than yours, but it's really not growing much quicker. You know what I'm saying? In the grand scheme of things, I'm not gaining, you know, 2 inches while you're gaining a centimeter. It doesn't work like that. All right. So hair type's gonna play into the appearance of what your hair looks like. All right, and then number two, we're gonna go to the graph. Okay, is your maintenance routine. This is gonna be really hard to read. I have horrible handwriting. I broke my hand a while back, and so my handwriting is really bad. All right, so you guys aren't gonna be able to read any of what this says, but just trust me, it says appearance of your locks, okay? And appearance of length, I mean. All right, so 0 is just your tolerance, right? It's just 0, okay? You don't have any locks and they don't look a certain way. Now, F is for freeform, all right? At freeform, now bear with me, everybody, this is only appearance of length because ultimately we all have the same length if we're at the same amount of growth. So if I grew my hair from day one, I probably have similar, not exactly the same, but similar length to you. All right, so if we're looking at 6 months of hair growth, all right, somebody that's free-forming is gonna look like they barely have any locks on the top of their head at all, okay? And that's because of the method that they're using. And, you know, if you've watched some of my other videos, you understand that, you know, freeform takes a long time to look like locks, okay? When you're twisting and interlocking, you're kind of right in that happy medium where you're gonna see a lot of progress, a lot of length up front and early. You're going to experience the shrinkage that's going to help me catch up to you, and then ultimately we're both going to continue to grow on our maintenance routines and look and have similar length. You know what I mean? Even if I have shrinkage early on, or I have shrinkage that makes my hair look, you know, like it's shorter than yours. If I pull the hair out and we compared, and you're the same exact amount of grow to me, how long I've been growing my hair versus how long you've been growing your hair. I would venture out to say that more than likely, especially if you have the same, you know, we have similar hair types, our hair is going to be very similar in length. All right, it won't be the same because everybody's hair again grows at a different rate slightly, but it'll be at a very similar length. And so then you have over here at the very end, you're going to have your straighter hair types in their maintenance routines, and there's a lot of maintenances that encompass for straighter hair. And again, eventually everybody's locks are kind of going to catch up to each other to a certain extent. Of course, you know, if you're dyeing your hair, if you're doing other things, if you don't have a good wash routine, that can play into it as well. And so that might be why you're seeing that your progress is either being stunted or that it's not looking like other people that are doing the exact same things that you're doing, because your maintenance may actually be different than them, okay? And then, you know, the number 3 thing that I can say is to stop comparing yourself to everybody else, all right? We all are unique individuals with our own set of variables on the top of our heads and how our locks look. You know what I'm saying? And a mistake that I see that people make, even veterans in the game make, is they want to compare themselves to X person or X YouTuber or homie down the street. And what they forget is that homie down the street, X person, X YouTuber, whatever, they have different hair than you. You know, they have a different heretical background. They have, or hereditary background. I'm not sorry, I don't know what the word is for that. But they have a different background than you. Their genes are different. And so therefore, because of that, you know, their hair is going to appear to grow different, you know. So don't really compare yourself to that person, because that's just going to discourage you and set you back and make you second guess what you're doing, as opposed to just sticking with it. What I can say is if you pick it, stick with it for a year, see what happens. If you don't like the way it looks, either cut your hair off or start twisting or start free forming, you know, or whatever your maintenance flavor is, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's the video, you guys. I hope this answers some of the questions. Your hair is not growing, all right? The only way your hair is just completely stopped growing is if you have a medical condition, and you would probably know about it, all right? So don't freak out, don't worry about it. It's gonna be all right. Have patience, have faith, and stay strong in the lock game. I'll see you guys in the next video.